And we're back with some more oxygen not included. And last episode, what we did was we got all of this power sorted. So we now have a stable supply of power. I kind of did a little bit on the side where I moved all the oil over here as well, and then filled in this tank, or started filling in this tank with the saltwater geyser. I figured we might as well start filling this up now. I even put in a little alert here in case it ever goes too high. And it'll warn us that, yeah, we should probably go and fix that water tank, just in case it gets a little bit too tall. But today, I think I want to try something a little closer to the base so we can get it built faster. And that would be put in a little industrial brick. Nothing too crazy. Oh, industrial and cooling. We want to be able to cool our base, cool the industrial brick, and generally just keep the map nice and icy cold. So this whole area here is going to have to get redeveloped quite extensively. First things first, we're going to have to remove some of this piping. I might want to put the cooling loop up here somewhere, just to get it out of the way. We want to make sure we've got this area as clear as possible. While attempting to clear this area out, we've got a new promising recruit show up as well. This one here, it's a meep. They've got a supplying, suit wearing, and operating. Also a quick learner, which doesn't hurt at all. They're just got biohazardous, which means they're going to have problems with germs, but considering it's an icy map, who cares? And the noodle arms is minus 120 kgs carry capacity, which is not great, but if we go under skills and just look at, say, improved carry, that's plus 400 kgs, so it's not exactly like one skill point to counteract it. Plus, they've got operating, which means this skill tree. They've got supplying, which is this skill tree, and suit wearing, which means we grab all of these, they make a perfect mechatronics engineer. They've got basically bonuses to all of these. They are, yeah, just perfect. Let's hire them. From now on, this meep shall be known as Paddy Wagon for some reason. Okay, Paddy Wagon, you can join us and we'll put you straight to training. One thing I do with all the new recruits immediately is I stick them into advanced research, assuming they have the capacity to learn advanced research. This gives them a +2 in science, which means they learn skills just that little bit faster, which means their training is just a little bit shorter. For example, Extranon's already in there, Golden Master. Ooh, you can actually go straight into astronomy right now. And what's your levels at? Athletics are still at only 8, your athletics are at 10. Ooh. You know, I'll wait till they're about 15 before I recruit them. We've got a little bit of time. Jack died. You can go into field research. Justin, unfortunately, is completely blocked out from the whole science tree. But they'll be fine. Just look how slow Paddy Wagon is going up that ladder. It is painful. Like, all the other duplicates usually have about, 5 to 10 in athletics, and it just makes them so much zippier around the place. You're forgetting how slow they are at the start. Also, it did help that we went up and down to the oil biome about a bajillion times getting everything down there built. But from now on, we're going to be quite quick. This should be very fast to put together. Now we have to do a little bit of a transplant. Currently, this cooling loop here, it's keeping our food chilled. It's also keeping these crops at livable temperatures. If this crop area here goes above, minus 14, we're already at minus 24. I mean, we probably could risk turning this off for a while, but considering how long it might take to build this, let's just be super safe. So you're going to go up like that. You're going to go down like that. Then we're going to cancel any overwrites that we're going to go on. And there. That should mean it all flows up, around through here and back out. We might have too much ethanol in the system, but that's okay. And 1 second here. You know what? I was going to sever this area, but we'll just let it keep doing what it's doing. Ugh. And that's got to go. You know what? This should make it faster. Perfect. We'll connect back in the other one in a minute. Looks like we've made the cooling loop a little bit long. There's going to be a gap in it. Don't think it really counts or really matters. This stuff's coming in at minus 27, going at it minus 34. So it's even a little bit colder up here. Perfect. Now we can clean this area up and start putting ourselves together a little industrial brick over here. A nice icy cold one to start. Just a bit of a rough idea of what we're going to try and do here is we're going to stick in 4 steam turbines here to eat heat, provide cooling for our base, metal refinement, all that sort of stuff. It should all be able to be processed by this, at least for a decent mid-sized base. So that means we're going to need to replace all of these tiles here. And what I'm trying to do is replace them from top to bottom. If we replace this top layer of tiles first, all the junk will fall down. And we can put in the tiles all the way through there. And then what we'll do is we'll delete some of these other tiles that we don't want. And then everything should fall down and we won't have to do any expensive, time-consuming sweeping. It should just be done and dusted in no time at all. One other quick thing we're going to take care of while we're doing this, I meant to do it for a while out, is replacing the power grid in here, replacing the iron with lead. Lead is just cheaper, easier to come by, and it's not like we're going to be dealing with high temperatures in here, so it's perfectly safe to use in our core base. and it frees up an awful lot of iron. We had about 3 tons of iron, now we're up to 4.5, and it should increase as we replace all the wiring. In fact, I'd like to replace pretty much all the wiring in non-critical areas with lead. It's so much more convenient and cheaper. But I suppose soon enough we'll have plenty of iron and steel to go around. I would just like to point out we've got up to over 11.4 tons of iron. I think we started about 3.5 tons. That means there was about 8 tons of iron just tied up in all of the wiring we put about the place. It really puts into perspective how much refined metals you need if you want to run any decent amount of wiring, or basically just to construct any kind of base at all. We've got the guts of this in place, and for some strange reason, I'm doing my old school thing of just walling everything in so it's temperature controlled from the rest of the base. I don't think we really need to do that, but just out of sheer habit, I can't not do it. So you'll notice all of these insulated tiles through here. These ones are necessary to keep this hot area here. This is going to be all of steam room, but this area out here, we don't care. We're going to chill it down to about minus 30 degrees. In fact, we're going to chill down everywhere to minus 30 degrees, so probably don't need these insulated tiles, but I'm still going to do it because, yeah, it seems to can up myself. So we've got brine and salt water going in here. Oh, give me liquids. This is about to become an ice box, and I have messed this up. I probably should have limited it to 1 liquid, shouldn't I? Turns out the brine was a bad idea. We only had 2 tons of brine. We couldn't fill up the whole bottom layer, and we're intending on freezing this. We're going to turn this into a big solid block of ice. Problem is, 400 kilos of brine would just turn into, little debris tiles instead, and then we'd have a problem. So I had to rip out all the brine, which was difficult, but we got there. And now it's all been replaced with salt water. Though we've still got somehow a blob of carbon dioxide that's like, nah, I'm good. I'm just going to stay right here. Yes, you are. Until we find some way of removing you, which should hopefully be with enough salt water tossed in there. Over here, we're going to put in our liquid lock, and we're going to use petroleum. The reason for petroleum, just better all-round temperature variance. As well as that, we're going to face these backwards because we're going to sort of use this as a triple liquid lock, a very lazy triple liquid lock. We want to stop the temperature in here from escaping. So we want to be like 100% sure that the stuff that's over 125 degrees in here does not get out into the rest of the area. That would be bad. Very, 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 very bad. So instead what we're going to do is we're going to pour this backwards, and then we're going to, we're basically going to have 3 liquid locks all in one. It'll make more sense once it's done, but for now just know that this weird blob liquid lock thing, we'll be trimming it down. It'll just be nice and neat by the time we're finished. We are just about done with filling this up. Right. You guys, all of yous, off. No more salt water in there. That salt water is going to overflow a bit in here, but that's fine. And now it's time to, seal this sucker in. Power-wise, we are going to want to stick it. Actually, no. I think we can do this a slightly different way. See, what we're going to do is put a brick there, there, and there. This will act like a liquid lock. Basically, because that blob of liquid is there, no gases can pass through. And all we're going to do is destroy that blob of polluted oxygen right there. So, you know what? Yeah, we can do this. Done, and this last one should seal it. Once that's done, this will have basically destroyed all the gases in this area. There's 3 kilos of polluted oxygen there, but we don't care. Once that's gone, we should be able to delete this out and put in whatever we want. Okay, no, seriously? Come on! Come back here! Perfect. In that case, deconstruct, and just deconstruct. Done. Perfect vacuum. Then, just to be absolutely triple, quadruple clear, we're still going to put in a heavy watt joint plate here. We're going to make that out of iron. We need to bring the power in here, you see. Lead wire to come in as far as here, and then from there on out, we shall go with iron. And, we should probably, we can deconstruct that. Actually, you know what, no. Leave it. What we could do is deconstruct that blob should stay there, but I kind of want to be super safe here. And to be extra duper duper safe, we're going to put insulated tile here, so if any liquids come down, they won't drop in here. I don't want anything else mixing in here and causing this whole thing to mess up. And you can come down to there, and we'll probably put in a power supply system. Yeah, I'm thinking a large power transformer. We're going to make that out of steel. It's going to get pretty hot in here. Then we're going to want to pump all the gases out of here and do a few other minor alterations. To move things along just a little bit, we're going to start sucking the oxygen out of this room. In fact, all of the gases need to go out of this room. This is going to be turned into a steam room. So once we get rid of all the gases, that'll be easier. Over here, I've put in an airflow tile to keep some water around this aquatuner. This aquatuner is going to be doing a bunch of cooling, and if it's not in some sort of transfer medium, it would overheat. So we need to keep some water up there, and hopefully once that converts, enough of this is converted as well, or we'll have to run some metal refineries. We'll find out a way just to make sure that this room is full of enough steam that thing doesn't overheat when the time comes. There is no temperature control set up on these as of yet. They're just going to dump their water in, and you will notice that we have rotated this steam turbine so that it's opposite the other ones. So these ones are now... Yeah, some people don't know you can rotate steam turbines, and then once you realize it, it makes things look so weird. Or you've worked around a whole bunch of janky stuff, and now it's like, oh, I could have just rotated them. It would have made things so much simpler. Alright, with that done, we'll just give it a few minutes for that to drain out. In fact, that should be pretty quick. And, oh, we're going to need to get some oil in there. Oh, and some coolant into this cooling loop. And I never put any temperature control in that coolant loop, did I? This could be a problem. How are we going to get in there? Actually, we can get in there without breaking the gas seal. We'll just do a little bit of ladder foo. I swear about 50% of this game is just figuring out how you can foo your way into a place without breaking a liquid lock or an air seal. All we did here is we checked this up one tile. Now someone can hop in here and down, and it doesn't break any gas seals anywhere. And we can put in our little modifications, then zip back out and restore everything to the way it was in no time at all. And this place is almost a complete vacuum now. Perfect! Over here, we are pouring in some nectar. This stuff is absolutely incredibly good for chilling. It goes down to minus 82. It can also go up as far as something like 160 as well. So this is going to be absolute perfection for what we want it for, which is cooling down this ice block to, you know, minus 20, I'm thinking. We'll start at minus 20 and see where we go from there. However, this is going to require like a lot of power. Just a stupid amount of power. No, not refined lead. I want conductive wire made of iron. Hook that up. Start pumping. That should go across the line. And we're filling up the loop. Done. And then we can mop up this junk and we can get started on the next part of our plan. Time to fire this sucker up. We want conductive wire made of iron. Connect. Is the temperature below... Wait, no, is it above 20 degrees? Yes, it is. Start chilling that down. This is, well, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 tons of water down here. It's going to take a long time to chill it. But the plan would be, liquid comes out here, it's 10 degrees colder, it passes through here, dumps off its chill, and then goes out the other side. And then we're going to use this as a sort of a cooling block to, well, a cooling battery to chill everywhere. For now, this ethanol up here is doing its job, and down the bottom, this should be providing us with all the necessary power. Yeah, it turns on and off. This thing has actually been remarkably stable. This is turned on occasionally, but I am going to put it in a liquid pump here, and that's going to take over from that one in a bit. But for now, I don't really see a reason to change it over. Yeah, working out great. Once this goes below 20 kilos of pressure, this should be almost full anyway. What's it at the moment? 88%. So if this goes below 20 kilos, we pump a little bit of extra water in from there, and we're done. It requires no real input from us. This is a really nice way to generate power, and you could also use it to desalinate water. For example, we could just take all of the salt water and dump it in, and just keep dumping salt water in and turning that salt water into steam power. And then the clean water we get out, it'll all get boiled, so we can take out the clean water and just use that directly. There's plenty of options you have for that. Now, over here, how are we looking? Wow, okay, so you've already made steam. Like, that's a lot of steam. And how? How has that not burst? I don't get it. I suppose the temperature from down here is keeping that from popping? Give me another temperature shift plate here. Give me temperature shift plate. Done right there. Oof. You know what? Not going to worry about that too much. Just so long as that keeps chilling that... Oh my god, we're still at 56 degrees. This is going to take an eternity, isn't it? Well then, let's find some other stuff to do while we're waiting. Namely, get our refinement up and running. That's going to require us to fill these with either crude oil or petroleum. Down here, I have refined an entire liquid reservoir full of petroleum, so I think we're going to use that. We're going to pipe it up, though. We're going to start making plastic up there as well. Downside, we're going to need insulated liquid pipes. This stuff's going to be hot. In fact, it is 68 degrees. So, igneous rock, insulated pipe, all the way up the map. That is... this could take a few minutes. Ah, there comes that petroleum now. That is coming all the way from down here. And that goes all the way up to the top, and then we're scooching it on here onto this machine. Now, this thing can hold 800 kilos of liquid, and we're just going to stick in lots of petroleum. I just prefer to put in 2 batches in each and just leave it at that. It makes it quick, convenient, easy, and you can run multiple ones of them if you really want to do mass production. Now, over here, we're setting up well, sort of iron steel production for now. We'll probably spread it out a little bit more later on, but for now we're only going to dedicate one duplicate to it because we've only got 14, and I think about 5 of them are in training. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, 5 are in training right now. And what have we got under? Nope, that's 2 skills, not even looking, and Pipsqueak. Sure, why not? We'll take a Pipsqueak. Over here, where was it? Yes, you. Once this one gets some coolant into it, we're going to start making ourselves some iron. That should help evaporate that salt water in there. And we finally got this steam turbine hooked up, which is cutting down on our power requirements. Done, and you are staying at 150. I'm just worried about this thing overheating, but I think it's fine for now. Yeah, it seems to be holding together. So, plan here. Make all of this liquid evaporate. Hopefully turn it into steam. Reason being is I'm just worried about there not being enough steam in here and this aqua tuna overheating. For now it's at 140 degrees, and its overheat capacity is something like 275, or is it 325? Yeah, 325. I keep forgetting that these things' base value is 125. Most things have an overheat temperature of 75 degrees, except for aqua tuners for some reason, which have, I think it's 125 base? Whatever. So, we'll get this up and running, and that gives us iron, steel, any kind of refinement we want is pretty much good to go. Oh, and a kiln over here. You're going to do some refined carbon. Wood to refine carbon? Yes. Give me like 20 of those. Why not? And then I need to deconstruct this thing over here. We don't need this anymore. You can go. You can also go. Yep, that whole section can be gone. Huh. Perfect. Might want to get the petroleum boiler and a few other things, but that can wait. And down here, wow. This used to be an ice biome. Now it's just a water stockpile for later in the game. There we go. Steam spreading out. That makes me feel a little more comfortable. Might dump in some more water in here in a bit. Depends how much pressure we end up. I'd like to at least 20 kilos per tile. A little bit higher would probably be preferable. But I'm just going to wait until we've evaporated all the pieces that are in there. Yeah, they're going down quite nicely. That batch of petroleum is coming out at, what, 195, passes through here, and then by the time it gets out the other side, what are we looking at? 112. So 195 to 112. That's dumping plenty heat in there. That all gets turned into power and helps us with our power needs. I'm also going to core out this bottom layer here. I want to get that prepped for some plastic production, and we'll probably throw in some other production as time goes on, and probably the floor below that as well. But realistically, we're waiting until this goes down. We're only at 39. I think it was 50-something when we started. So we've managed to chill this down to 39 degrees and change. This is going to take an awful lot longer, isn't it? In fact, the temperature's above minus 20 is what I should be aiming for. Yeah, in fact, make that minus 25. Temperatures above minus 25, you're going to stay on, which means you're not going to be turning off. Not for a long, long, long time. This is also completely evaporated. We're up to about 35 kgs of pressure per tile. That's actually pretty good. And, ooh, might want to put in some storage batteries just to make sure everything's on the up and up. We have plenty of iron. You know what? No, I'm just going to leave it for now until we get some steel and iron under our belt. I think a smarter plan might have been just to use metal tiles here. They're far smaller, well, they take up far less mass, so they wouldn't have as much thermal capacity in them, but it would quickly allow us to hit the temperatures we want. Just, I wanted something with a lot of oomph to it, so that when we do start passing liquid through here, it always keeps things very, very, very stable. That would be the goal. Yeah, it just means we're going to have to spend a lot longer waiting for this to get up to speed. I mean, it's only at 36 degrees. That's... So anyway, let's find another project to do while we're waiting. And I'd like to point out here, a little liquid lock. This blob of petroleum is 113 degrees. This one down here is 21.4, and this one over here is minus 27.3. We have managed to lock the temperature in there. And if this liquid lock breaks, okay, this will get hot, but this one will stay cold. And we don't have to worry about this heavy watt joint plate spreading temperature to the wires. These lead wires here, they won't spread the temperature out. If that liquid was touching the heavy watt joint plate, then yes, it would cause problems. But this is just a triple layer to make sure we don't accidentally, as I said, I feel like letting a massive amount of heat invade this map would be, would be detrimental. And oh, yeah, we should probably do something with the core of the base. I think that can go. That's 9C there. Ouch. And in all fairness, the cooling down here is keeping everything fine. And it might be time to convert our bathroom over. Oh, if I convert the bathroom over, I might want to insulate this first, though. Might be an idea to insulate all the tiles here. But that could get really tricky. Problem is there's big blobs of oxygen down here. Trying to insulate it in with insulated tiles, there'll be a split second where the gases might escape. Oh, and then we might end up killing our food. It seems to be working. I think they've tweaked the replacement mechanic to cut down on the gap between when the old tile is replaced and the new one goes in. Yeah, see, no gas escaped. That's very good. Still gonna keep an eye on it, but that does mean we can insulate in this area quite handily. And I think that means we can finally switch our toilets over to some actual plumb sinks. Though I have removed the back end area where I normally do all the plumbing. We'll sort something out about that later, or we can just move the bathrooms. And come on, don't do any mess ups. Done, done, and perfection. And we should probably arrange for him to get some oxygen supply. There's like an oxide sconce right above you. Low oxygen environment. You'll be fine. Probably. To help fill out the industrial brick, we're going to chuck in the rock crusher over here. Right now, we can't crush up any of the fossil we have. If we bring any fossil into this base, it would melt everything. The problem is all the fossil is located down in the oil biome, and all that fossil is 70 to 80 degrees. 70 to 80 C coming into a base that's minus 20, yeah, that's just going to cause huge problems. So we've been holding off on smashing up the fossil, which limits the amount of lime we can get, which limits the amount of steel we can make. So right now, we're going to put all the eggs in there, we're going to put all the fossil in there, and then we can smash them up. We're also going to do the exosuit forge, textile loom, and we're going to put in a skill scrubber because I think it's extra neon? Extra neon is about to come off training. They're not perfection, they haven't maxed out all their skills, but their machinery's at 19, their athletics is at 14. And that's assuming there's nothing weird going on. At one point they were at 19 athletics, I was like, wait, how? Turns out they're a sparkle streaker. So right now they have a straight up 14 in athletics and a straight up 19. Actually, it's not even 19. It's 16 in machinery. They've got a +3 from being a grease monkey. Okay, so they're not quite where they should be, but we'll wait until they say they're at about 20 machinery and then we'll put them into the game. They should be good to go at that point. There's a few side projects I've been putting on the long finger that I'd like to take care of. One is getting rid of all of this. This all over here, we don't need this anymore. What we want to do is actually seal in this base. We're going to have this be our core. And then if anyone wants to do anything outside it, they have to pass through an atmosuit dock. Just simplifies things a lot. Also means cleaning out this area is a lot simpler, especially if your dupes are in atmosuits and they don't have to worry about getting salt water in their eyes all the time. And also we can access down here and... ooh. Yeah, you're probably going to go off before we get to you, but that's fine. There's plenty more sleet wheat down there. Like, if we look over here, there's 36 sleet wheat. That one's got another 36. I'm pretty sure there's one with like 50-something. There's 54 right there. There's plenty of wild sleet wheat around the place. Oh, and there's a couple of other things I'd like to take care of as well while we're waiting for this cooling loop to kick in. It's only down to 14 degrees. Oh, and some of the polluted water up there is starting to melt, or the polluted ice. So let's just start this loop now. You can bridge on there. That should just be a case of it. This is going to be the small loop. This is going to come around here, go through this section to drag it, well, to get chilled, though in this instance it's actually going to get warmed up, and then it's just going to rotate around and around and around. This is to keep the steam turbines from overheating, and it's to keep all of our machinery down here temperature controlled. And given a bit more time, this will eventually drop to a temperature of, minus 25, so it'll keep everything in this area nicely frozen. In the meantime, though, I'm going to quickly wall in this section right here. We are just about sealed in. This is the last open area. Once these go in and... oh, please tell me you don't... are you going to do it? No, but you know what? Why don't you... no, never mind, you fell. That's fine. Once this last tile goes in, that will be the whole place boxed in. Then what we can do is put in 2 tiles here. We'll actually deconstruct you, and you will replace those tiles. And that way, this whole place is walled in all the way across, up, down, left, right, the whole 9 yards. In fact, let's just put that down to there at least. I don't know why I'm insulating one side and not the other. I think I'm just not too worried about this side, though I really should be considering the massive pool of boiling water that's over there. Yeah, we'll worry about that later. Anyway, for now, this seems to be finished. Excellent. Okay, in that case, we'll wall in across the top, make sure all the duplicates are inside and none of them are over here doing something stupid. And then once that's done, that means everyone has to go out through the airlocks and we can just, plow through everything on this map that's left. With this way opened up, that means everyone can go around the top and in this direction. We're also going to core at the bottom probably at some point, just not right at this minute. I just don't see a need to. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to reduce labor requirements even more by automating a bunch of stuff that I've been meaning to get around to, just I've been sort of lazy about. First off is this incubator over here. You're going to be for these... the eggs for the muffalos. These guys over here as well, we need to put in some auto sweepers to about there should be good. And then we're going to wall you in. And I don't even think we need to change the size of this. We probably will change the size of the ranch, but at the same time, we don't actually have to. Then what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that all the eggs are removed from here automatically. And, wow, that's... I'm also going to have to extract the mammoth pasties as well. A little bit of fiddling around with belts and transport belts and... where is it? Shipping rails. So, these conveyor rails are coming over here and all dumping off in this section. So what we're going to do now is... and bear with me. Okay, mammoth patties, we want you to pick those up. Also reed fiber. So reed fiber and the mammoth patties all get chucked in there, which is incredibly unhygienic. But whatever, it goes along here. This is the same rail that also carries eggs and things like that. And they're all going to get dumped over in this section. In fact, so far, all the wood from all around here, all the eggs from all around here, and all of the mammoth patties and the reed fiber from all around here are all getting dropped in this one section. Now make sure that these egg things can all get filled up. Then what happens is the eggs all get dumped into, well, this container. Well, all the flock's fawn eggs do. And then they hatch, well, they get destroyed in there because they can't hatch. And what you end up with is a bunch of eggs. Those raw eggs we use to cook into food. And how are you looking? You're storing 8 of 8, you're storing 8 of 8, and you're storing 8 of 8. Oh yeah, perfect. In that case, what we want to do is get this one over here, and we're going to be doing several changes. First off, give me you. We want to make sure that all egg yolks, where is it? Yep, raw egg. We want all raw egg to get filtered on this thing. That means any raw egg that gets picked up here will get filtered up here and sent off to the kitchen area where it can get cooked up. Anything that's not raw egg is what we're going to be picking up here, though. So, first, wood, mammoth patties, eggshells, and I think that is it. Then what happens is they all get dumped in there. Oh, reed fiber. And reed fiber, done. So they all get chucked across the line, so unless it's an egg, it all gets sent over here and sent to the industrial area. This means all the eggshells get smashed up into lime. So eggshells to lime forever. Then we're going to have the mammoth patties forever. Done and done. It also puts the reed fiber right beside the exosuit forge and also by the textile loom. Just simplifies the amount of transport. It also, well, okay, it's going to take a while while we clear out the backlog of wood. There's probably a bajillion tons of wood right there. I can't, yeah, there's a lot of wood. Many tons of it. So that's going to completely saturate the line for a while to come. But after like 50 or 60 cycles, that'll all go away. And I need to notice that the shearing station and the grooming station are in a room that's just one tile too big. Yeah, it's 97 tiles instead of 96. And then once that changes, boom, it's back to being a stable. My bad. We definitely still have lots of ice. Yes, we are on 492 tons of ice. Might want to go get our hands on more of that, but I'm thinking the map's got plenty. Time to do a little bit more exploration, though. I want to see what's in this area here and this area over here. Chopping our way in here, we found ourselves a polluted water vent, which is more water we have no use for right now. But, hey, that's our 4th water vent so far. There's also another area down here we're going to chop into. It'll be useful when we start getting into hydrogen, because I've realised with it, the spaced out installed, we can't do what I was planning on doing, which was the Saturn critter traps, which I suppose we wouldn't have the bees bees anyway. And we don't have radiation either, and we can't mutate plants. There is some spaced out I really do miss. Anyway, over here, we're chucking down some of these ethanol distilleries. Reason being is, they're awesome. Well, they're going to be fun for us to use. First off, though, I need to sever this. Let you guys keep going, and I need to set this for it's a solid filter for wood. Reason being is we want to use this to feed our ethanol distilleries. I figure, why not put down a couple of these suckers? We'll only use one of them to start, but a couple of ethanol distilleries should allow us to get more ethanol out than we're putting into, say, this thing over here, these two behemoths. I just want to make sure that we're sustainable on a lot of fronts. It's also going to generate a whole bunch of polluted dirt, which is why the composter all the way over here as well. Is that actually filtering now correctly, or... That seems to be a lump of wood. Yeah, that's 20 kgs of wood. Why the hell are you not filtering it out? Oh, yeah. 1 second. There we go. Perfect. Excellent. I just noticed that this is buggered. Yep. I've started putting in plans to break in there, but I'm thinking... use mercury. We're going to literally fill this up with mercury. why not? It's not going to be as energy intensive as water to get to. Turns out that salt water just turned into brine and left behind a bunch of ice chunks. That was my bad. My bad indeed. Also, Extranon has finished all their training. Well, they're not completely skilled up to the bejesus, but they've got a 17 in athletics. That's pretty fast. That's good enough for us. So, we're going to give you improved carry, suit weighting, exosuit training, hard digging, super hard digging, and... Oh yeah, that makes you very good at all of those things. We shall give you a nice little digging hat. Off you go. Golden Master, unfortunately, is still not quite there yet. They're at 15 athletics, but they're getting pretty close. That gym is... In fact, I should point out, Sid Chili Peeps, our longest running dupe, has 12 athletics. So they've been with us since the very beginning, and they have less athletic speed now than our trained dupe. So training is very powerful for getting the fastest dupes possible. And this will make digging just a little bit easier by having 2 duplicates doing it. And over here, yes, I want to put down some oil, make ourselves a little liquid blob, and then break our way in here. And I'm going to fill this up by... Ooh, just realized something. How do I get the gases out? I mean, I want to get that liquid out, but to get the liquid out, it's going to cause issues too. Because if we get the liquid out, that's going to let gases in. You know what? It'll be fine. I think I've got an idea. We're going to pour all of this stuff out, we'll mop it up, and we'll replace it with something better. Come on, come on. Yep. We've basically busted our way in here. This place is now full of oxygen, unfortunately, but there are ways around that. We're going to move all of this stuff out of here. We don't want it. This move function just makes life so much simpler. Normally that'd be like setting up bins and all sorts of stuff, but no. Now it's just, boom, done instantly. We'll also move you out of there. And then next up we're going to start putting mercury in here. We're just going to use mercury temperature shift plates, and that should fill this place up quite nicely. The way I figure it, the mercury will melt because it's too warm around here. Once it melts, it'll form a liquid layer. Yeah, there we go. That liquid layer will push all the gases out up to here, and then we can just brick it off. Seems to be working. Mercury levels are going up. Who would have thought saying mercury levels are going up would be a good thing? 1,000 kilos on the bottom layer, 900 kgs on the top layer. We'll just wall this in. That should be more than sufficient. It's not going to have quite the same level of oomph as we were hoping for, but I'm just not bothered changing much stuff. Let's see. Freeze point is minus 38.8. That, more than enough. Unfortunately, its specific heat capacity is 0.14, as opposed to water, which is, like, I think 4. So, you know, it works. It's just a little bit different from what we were planning on at the start. Oh, and down here, we've put in the ethanol distilleries, though I realized we can't use this pool for it. The reason we can't use this pool, it's too cold, or the ethanol coming out of it's going to be too hot, and that, wow, what happened to all the ethanol that was down here? Some might think we destroyed a bunch of it when we put in those tiles. No, wait, it's popping back up. If we heat up this ethanol too much, the ice in here is going to start melting and it's going to contaminate the pool. So I need to actually make another pool or somehow wall this in, or I need to do something to get rid of all the junk that's in here. That I might want to do a little bit later. For now, I just want to finish this off and get it built. And also put in some extra batteries. When we had these on, the battery downstairs was yo-yoing like a lunatic. Actually, let me show you. Yeah, that should get those started. Yep. And then if we go down here, you can watch this battery here. It goes down, up, down, up, down. Like, it's just bouncing up and down. That's a little unstable. I'd prefer a little bit more stability on the network. So what we're going to do is chuck on a few batteries just to even out that flow. Make it a little less bouncy. And over here, how are we looking? 900 kids, yeah, perfect. We'll just put in that tile. That should seal it off. Might be a little bit overpressurized. Actually, more than a little bit. So long as it doesn't break through the walls. Hopefully it won't break through the walls. One thing I totally forgot to do was sweep out the eggs. That's kind of stupid. Yeah, give me all those Bamman eggs that is there as well. Bammanini? I don't know why they're called Bammanini legs instead of Bammoth eggs. Because the Bammanini is the baby version? Anyway, okay, so that sweeps those eggs up there. We don't have to do anything here. So it gets rid of labor requirements here, here, here. A whole bunch of it over here. And now we have the ability to automate the production of ethanol when we need it. Well, I'm going to call that a successful little industrial brick. It'll do everything we need. We've already knocked out, I think, all the iron to steel. Yeah, we're just waiting on lime. No problems there. We've got lots of mammoth patties and eggs and all sorts of stuff coming in. And once you start moving the fossil, that will help out also. Iron-wise, we're up to 13 tons, despite having turned a whole bunch of it into steel, of which we have 6 tons. And the cooling loop over here is now down to, what, minus 29? It's just going around at about minus 28-ish in the pipes, which means I think this can start taking over for the main cooling loop over here, as in this can start cooling the home base, and we never have to worry about moving this cooling loop around again. That I like the idea of. Long term, I was going to do something stupid like maybe try and run us on, what is it, these things here? Spigot seals? Use those to run petroleum generators to power us. But then I did the math, and it turns out you need to run about 30 spigot seals to run one petroleum generator. So to run 3 of them would require, 120 spigot seals. That's just going to crash the frame rate. Plus, the map would be mostly just spigot seals. I just don't see the point of it. Maybe running them on nectar. I kind of like the idea of using these trees as just a ridiculous source of nectar, because considering how easy it is to automate these, while planting a bunch of these, doing some dumb stuff with sunlight to make sure you can keep them all growing long periods of time, I think we could do ridiculous amounts of nectar. I'm just not sure what to do with it all yet. Anyway, I'm going to cut this out here. I hope you enjoyed it. Good luck.